Hey guys, welcome to the 5 Days of Digital Planning course. This course is going to walk you through everything you need to know to get started with digital planning. I'll be sharing my best tips and tools to get you going, even if you've never digitally planned before. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. All right, in today's video, we are going to go over the tools that you will need to digital plan. So basically, you'll want to have three things. You'll want a device, a stylus, and an app. So first things first, we're going to go over the device. Most people who digitally plan use a tablet, but you could also use your phone or computer or a combination of all three, which is what I do. All you need out of your device is enough storage to hold whatever planner and stickers you want to purchase, plus it needs to be able to handle one of the apps that we're going to discuss in just a minute. Most of the newer tablets on the market are going to be able to digitally plan easily. I personally use this iPad Pro, but I've also used my husband's Surface Pro, and I would recommend both. The one benefit that Apple products have over the others is their ability to use the Goodnotes app, which in my opinion is a lot better than the Android options currently on the market. So if you're in the market for a new tablet and you're going to be digitally planning, you'll definitely want to take that into consideration. But if you already have an Android tablet, I wouldn't go out and just immediately purchase an Apple tablet to start digitally planning. You can easily do most of the same things on your Android device, and you might not even want the features that are available inside the Goodnotes app, but we will go over that in just 1 second. Next, you're going to want to have a stylus. Any good stylus that works with your device is fine. I use the previous generation Apple Pencil, and it works perfect. One optional tool you might want to consider is a silicone sleeve for your stylus. It's an either love it or hate it kind of thing. I found the Apple Pen alone to be difficult for me to hold. It's kind of slippery, and having a silicone sleeve made a big difference for me, and they're not very expensive. I found mine on Amazon. Last, you'll want to download an app, and that's going to be what we spend most of the time in this video discussing. I have 5 options for you that I would recommend and are probably the most popular options on the market. These are the 5 apps we're going to go over. And I'm just going to briefly discuss the difference between them. I won't go in a lot of detail about what you can do inside each app or how to use the apps. This is mostly going to be a quick overview of each app and what the differences are, so you can get an idea of what you want to use and what features are important to you, and you don't need to go out and buy all 5 of them like I have. And some of them are free, some of them cost money, and we'll go over that as well. If you want to see more about the features and comparisons of each app, let me know in the description box below, and I can film a video going through each app so you can kind of see a more detailed video of each one, but this is just going to be a quick one. All right, so here are the 5 apps that I would recommend. Let's just jump right in and start going through them. Let's start with Goodnotes 5, which is this one. This is my favorite app and the one that I use in all of my digitally planning videos. It has a few features that I personally love that make it a clear winner in my opinion. A few of those are you can turn on and off the ability to create a straight line with the highlighter. Some of the other apps will draw a straight line, but you can't turn it on and off. And I like to color inside my pages. So being able to kind of make different shapes with it and color however I want is a big feature. But then if I try to draw in a straight line, it will automatically straighten it out for me. I like that feature. And if I'm having a hard time with it, I can actually toggle it off and draw sloppy lines all I want. That's a big feature plus for me. Also, the ability to change the selection tool to select different types of objects only is a huge feature for me. So if I put down a picture, let's see, I'm going to show you the page I was working on today. If I put down this sticker right here, this is a separate sticker, and then I write on top of it, which you're likely to do if you are digitally planning, and say I want to center this text. If I wrote it and it kind of ended up, most of the time mine end up looking something like this when I write them, and I want to center it, I can select just this text and not the box. Or I can select both. I can toggle them on and off as I want to. That's a huge feature plus for me inside Goodnotes that none of the other apps actually have. Another one is the ability to use pre-crop stickers. All of my sticker kits that I offer come with a Goodnotes file where they are already pre-cropped. So we're going to go into this one. And you can select the sticker and bring it over, and you don't have to crop it at all. That's a big feature plus for me as well. One last thing, and some of the other apps do this as well, and it does sync between my desktop and my phone. So I plan on my iPad, and then I save it. It automatically syncs to my phone and my tablet, or not my tablet, my computer, so I can reference it wherever I am. I don't have to jump back and forth, and I don't need to bring my actual tablet with me everywhere. I only bring it with me when I'm actually going to plan, and I can make small edits easily inside my phone or inside my computer, depending on what I have on hand. And I can also, if someone asks me if I'm available a certain day, I can easily pull it up and look. Another big feature, we're going to go back into this planner because it has a bunch of stickers already in it. Another big feature that I like is the ability to crop pictures inside the app. So if I wanted, say, this to only be like half the size or something, you can crop it and cut it out however you want inside the app. That is a huge feature plus. They also have a freehand crop. So like say I want just this heart, I can do that. Those are major feature pluses, and that's one that's not available in any other app that I've found. And those are the biggest reasons why I personally use Goodnotes as opposed to one of the other apps I'm going to go over. But there are a few drawbacks as well. One of them being that the text function inside Goodnotes is pretty glitchy and it's kind of difficult to use, swapping between texts and resizing, things like that. It doesn't work very well. It's definitely a major problem if you like to type in your notes or type in your schedule. I handwrite everything, so it's not a problem for me, but it might be something that you don't like if you want an actual text input for your notes. Also, there's no ability to force sync your files, which can be annoying as you never know when they're going to sync. Sometimes it's like within 3 seconds. Sometimes it's like 10 minutes later. It's usually within 10 minutes. This is probably the longest I've ever seen. But if you're in a hurry, that can be a real problem because I do switch back and forth between my computer and my tablet all the time. And I really need them to sync up when I need it. And so having the ability to force sync would be a huge plus. I also don't love that you don't have the ability to like select your covers. Like you can't change these. It just automatically pulls in the first page of the file. So in my sticker kits, I've actually created a separate sticker cover so that it looks nice and organized. But it does add an extra page to your sticker kit, which is a little annoying. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I would love it if you could actually set an image or something like that as the cover and kind of customize it that way. That would be a huge plus. And that is available in some of the other apps we're going to talk about. The last major drawback of Goodnotes is that it is only available on Apple devices. Currently, Goodnotes doesn't offer any app for Android devices, and as far as I can personally tell, they don't plan on offering one anytime in the near future. I know a lot of people have requested it, and there's really no like estimated time of arrival for it. They don't seem too interested, as far as I can tell, in creating an app for Android users. So if you are an Android user, you are going to have to use one of the other 4 apps that I'm going to discuss in just a second. So that is Goodnotes 5. The next one is Noteshelf. This also used to be an Apple-only app, but they recently came out with an Android version, so you can get this on either device if you want. This is probably my second choice right behind Goodnotes. It does a lot of the same things that Goodnotes does. There's just a few features that it doesn't do, and we'll kind of cover that in a second. I've also heard that the Android version of this app is quite buggy, so if you are on Android, you might want to consider one of the other options. Hopefully they get them worked out in the near future. I definitely recommend going on and looking at the reviews before you purchase something, just so you can get an idea and make sure that it's going to work for you. I have it on my iPad and it works great on the iPad. One of the things that I love about Noteshelf which we were just talking about, is you can customize the covers, and their like interface right here. I think Noteshelf has the most beautiful and simple and easy to use like user interface. It's the best if you're a beginner. It's very intuitive. You can customize the covers. It looks very clean. I love just their layout and everything about that. There are a few features that Goodnotes offers that aren't currently available on Noteshelf, which is why I personally don't use it on a regular basis. If they offered the same features, I would use this app over Goodnotes for sure. But one of the ones that they're missing to me that makes it so I don't use it is the ability to select just the text of an image within layered objects. And we talked about that. I kind of showed you where I put the text on top. With this one, if you use a selector tool, I don't know why it's not working. My pen might have died. You're going to select everything that's on top of each other. So if you have text, like in the last one I showed you, if you had text on top of a sticker or another image, you cannot just select the text. You're going to select both. And you can't independently move that handwriting around without moving the image. There are ways to work around it. Like you could select just the corner of the image and then kind of move it and then reposition both where you want it. But I find that kind of annoying and frustrating that you have to work around it, and it's not just as simple and easy like it is with Goodnotes. You also can't crop the image inside the app, which I do end up, Goodnotes recently released that feature, and I do end up using it all the time. It's super convenient to have. It makes your sticker kits go a lot longer because you can resize them and use them in a lot of different ways that you couldn't use them before. So the last major difference is the highlighter. In Noteshelf, you can't toggle between straight and curvy lines. It will automatically straighten out the lines for you. So if I draw a line like this, it's going to straighten it out no matter what you do. If you draw, a circle will kind of like, it will automatically create like a shape. It won't let you just like color in a, like say I had a heart or something. It's not going to let you do that. I find that really annoying that you can't, at least I haven't found a way to turn that off. So that's a feature because I do a lot of coloring inside my planners. That's a feature that I find really annoying. And that's pretty much it for Noteshelf. Again, this is easily my second favorite app. If I didn't have Goodnotes, I would have this one. But let's go ahead and look at the other one. So the third app I want to talk about is Metamoji. This one is similar to Noteshelf in that it has pretty much all the same features. There's only a few small differences. And this is also available on Android. And I believe the Android version is actually better than the Apple version and a little bit easier to use. So keep that in mind. One of my biggest complaints with Metamoji is I think the user interface is a lot more difficult to use than the other two apps. It's complicated. It's like they've tried to oversimplify it. I can't ever find anything that I want to find. There's a bunch of buttons that I don't even know or understand what they do. I just find it kind of an annoying app in general. But a huge feature overlook in this app, in my opinion, is that you cannot drag and drop images directly into the app. On all the other apps, you can pull like Dropbox or whatever, file sorter app that you use over to the side, and then you can drag and drop your stickers in. Super convenient. I'll show you kind of how it works inside Goodnotes real quick so you can see. So, whoops, let's try that again. So you can drag this over, make it smaller, and then you can literally drag on your stickers and work with them super easy and fast. You don't have to like go in and find your files. Inside Metamoji, you have to click the plus, add photo from album, find the photo. It's super, that to me is just really annoying. And takes a long time, especially if you're digital planning and you like to use stickers. This is probably not the app for you if you like to use stickers, but it is one of the most popular apps for Android digital planners. But I would not be surprised if the Noteshelf app quickly overtakes it once they work out some of the bugs. Okay, so that is Metamoji. I think a lot of people who like to use this are they prefer like bullet journaling, where they're pretty much drawing every aspect of the page and they're not using a whole lot of stickers. This is a great option for that. Their pens are kind of really smooth and easy to use. This is great if you're just going to be doing a lot of handwriting and you're an Android user. All right, so next up is Zotoh. I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with Zotoh. The app is a lot better on Android than the Apple version I'm going to be showing you, and I would definitely not recommend the Apple version for digital planning. I would recommend either Goodnotes or Noteshelf if you're using Apple. But Zotoh is probably my favorite app if you're using an Android device. The reason I don't love it is it's kind of clunky and difficult to use on the Apple. It's a little bit better on Android. It's also not very user-friendly and has a steep learning curve, so it's not the best if you're just starting out. You might find yourself getting really frustrated, and there's not a lot of videos on YouTube showing you how to use it either, so you might feel a little bit lost in comparison to if you were using Goodnotes. That being said, there are a few things I do like about it if you are using an Android device. Zotoh has a lot of the same features as Noteshelf, but it also features a desktop version, which is really helpful and useful. I also like the way they size their images from the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the app and kind of show you how this works. Zotoh doesn't recognize your pen in some of their gestures. They require you to use your finger, at least on the Apple version. So I'm going to insert an image. They also don't let you drag and drop images or select from anything other than your camera roll, which I find really annoying. So I'm going to use one of these pictures of my kids because I don't keep stickers in my camera roll. They also don't store your files like inside the app, and I find that annoying as well. You have to have like a dedicated folder either on your tablet or like in Dropbox or something like that. Those are features that I just think are hugely lacking in the app. So when you resize your images, it resizes from the corner, which means the corner that you drag is going to move and the corner you're not dragging is going to stay put. In Goodnotes, the whole thing moves. Let me show you. And that can be really annoying and make it a little bit more difficult to use. So let's go back to this image. When you resize it, it resizes from the center, and that can make it hard to align things. So having it resize from the corner, I think, is a big plus for Zotoh. The tools inside Zotoh are also really good. So let me show you the pen tools. I have them normally they show up right here, but I kind of moved them over to the side. So they have all these different tools, which I think are super, super useful. I don't really know why you would use the ruler, but the rest of them I do like. Their highlighter is actually my favorite highlighter out of any app. I think it's super nice and it flows really well. And I like the way it just kind of looks. It looks like a little bit more realistic, which I kind of think is cool. So one of the things their tools do that you can't do in any of the other apps I've seen is you can change the opacity, meaning you can make it more or less transparent. And I think that's really cool. I also think they just have a good variety of tools, and you can change the sizes. And they all write, like this one's kind of like a pencil texture, and they all write a little bit different. So I really like the tools inside Zotoh. So the last thing, I kind of touched on it earlier, but the last thing I want to note about Zotoh is that they do require your pen will not work for a lot of things. Like I can't select this picture. I have to use my finger to select it. Those things, and you also, when you're done with a tool like I am now, you have to click save. Then you have to use your finger to touch things. I find that like really, really annoying because it will just draw. It automatically goes into drawing. I like that Goodnotes and some of the other apps let you use your pen the whole time. That's more intuitive to me than using my finger. I don't like switching back and forth. So that's also something to keep in mind if you are looking at possibly getting Zotoh as your app of choice for this. So the last app I want to go over is OneNote. OneNote is gaining a lot of popularity in the digital planning world, largely because you can access your files from anywhere and the app is extremely easy to use and navigate. But it does work very differently. Digital planning on OneNotes is completely different than all the other apps, so it's something you need to decide if you like more or less. So the biggest difference between OneNote and the other 4 apps we've already discussed is the way your planner is organized inside of the app. Instead of having clickable tabs, so on the other planners you can click right here on these tabs, and it will flip through the planner accordingly. Inside Goodnotes, you actually have it's organized over here on this sliding bar. So you have your tabs here, and then your different page views are organized in here, and they kind of operate independently, so you can kind of zoom in and out, and it will save your view from the last time you used it. So that is very, very different from the other apps. This can be a drawback or a plus depending on how you like to plan, but other than that, the app offers a lot of additional features you won't find in any of the other apps we talked about, like the ability to add in checkboxes, which I don't remember where is, but it's right here. You can add in checkboxes. You can, they have a lot of different drawing tools. Like this is one of my favorite things ever. That tool, it's super cute and fun. There's a lot of good things about Goodnotes, depending on how you want to use it. There is a major drawback of using OneNote, and that is that most planners on the market now come in a PDF format, and that works perfectly for the other 4 apps that we've talked about. This app will not handle it the same way. You will have to assemble your planner yourself or find one specifically made for OneNote. They do have those, but there aren't very many of them. So most likely you'll end up having to assemble it yourself. So you'll have to insert these pages, the pages of your planner, inside as images and create the filing system yourself, which is time consuming and maybe a little frustrating, and it isn't for everyone. So that's something you'll definitely want to consider if you like the idea of using OneNote. So that is a quick overview of the apps currently available on the market, or at least the top 5 in my opinion, and hopefully that helps you narrow down what app is best for you and what tools you want to use with your digital planning. I do have one last tool that you might want to consider if you're getting into digital planning, but it is completely optional, and that is a matte screen protector. You can get them for any device that you have. I have one for my iPad, and it gives the surface a little bit of texture, and I'm going to scratch the surface so hopefully you can kind of hear. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but you can tell that there's like a little bit more grit to the surface. It makes it feel more like actual paper when you're writing with a stylus. This helps with your handwriting. Before I had it, my handwriting looked really, really shaky on my iPad. And that's because this on top of your really glossy screen just kind of slips around. So having that textured screen protector really helped me make my handwriting a little bit nicer and more like it is in real life. But again, that's completely optional. They're not very expensive. I found one on Amazon for pretty cheap. So if that is something you're interested in, you can easily find it there. So that's it. Those are all the tools that you'll need to get started with digital planning. In tomorrow's video, we're going to get into selecting a digital planner and how to get that actually into the app. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching.